Hello guys and welcome to TFT Worlds 12 Grand Finals, last day, game number 6. Enjoy.
He played many games of Vertical Witchcraft, many games of Frost Vertical. He has the reps on all these different lines.
Yes, that's the other one I wanted to mention, Witchcraft. So you already have one. It's very easy to simply get an additional item and do it. So you get a crest, Witchcraft crest, you already set up. 8 Witchcraft can easily be a top 1 comp.
We could see that as soon as 2-1 once the first augment sort of shows up. So I think most of the players are just going to be holding on to that one. Once we have a 2-1 option come up, I want to see if the other players try to stop them, because this will be we'll have a very clear front runner.
Yeah, that's the top. We have it in the right, everyone with the crown, like David was saying. With one win, with a first place, takes it all here, takes the championship, takes the crown, and only Volta and Darkest, with the possibility of a first, will elongate this tournament to a one more game.
I want to see more games. I'm rooting for EMEA.
This 2-1 round, especially with the commitment that a spatula tends to give you in terms of the line that you select and if it's contested or not, could be one of the most important 2-1 rounds of these players' lives in terms of what they commit to, what is contested, what line later in stage 4 could have some consequences for having multiple players rolling for things like Ryze, things like Olaf.
Depends on what actually drops out of these minions, though, because we have seen a couple of games where there haven't really been a whole lot of components, so that does actually kind of change your position on sort of what kind of emblems you can go for early.
That's a really good point. Only 2 components here, so that does lower the chances, but beggars can't be choosers. Could be a way to get that +2 online.
I like that as an option.
Silver,
there's branching out
for
Volta.
Keeper for Darkest. I think they went for beggars can't be choosers though. Help is on the way potentially for Gear PYM.
Ramification there for Volta.
Of course, players are not just selecting these augments on just the general strongest augments, but instead, what gives me the highest potential for capping out? What gives me the chance to, when it comes to stage 5 and 6, win this game?
This is a good start for EMEA. Nothing too crazy. Nobody on the +2 just to start off the game here. And
Branching out.
You can reforge.
For Volta. Witchcraft emblem, I like it. The warrior emblem, Gangly likes it. Me not so much. It does synergize, of course, with the Fiora, but you would, of course, like in an ideal world, especially if you're Volta, to have 2 Witchcraft emblems instead.
And a big thing to look out here, I think Zirue with the Caretakers is going to be one of the highlight points here, because there's a very big difference between a good Caretaker's allied and a bad one for the Silvers.
I think there's a chance that is the Nila, but if it's Kassadin now with this reroll multi-strike round, could be amazing. Maybe we can check and we'll tell you immediately right now.
Absolutely the one that pops out to me as the highest roll potential. For some other of the checks here, Title, of course, going on to the branching, I believe Title going for the Stim Pack, another high cap option as well.
Steam Pack, also with a little sugar craft here. We haven't seen it. That was your favorite comp, Clement, and it did happen.
This
Where are you
is
seeing?
So cool. Mid-feed actually selected Call Shot. This is going all in. This is such a incredible way to play, and he is on 100 HP. If you want, it's go big or go home, so go for the highest ceiling.
And for Balmian as well, 2 games ago, Balmian was contested on the Fairy line, was not able to make that work to contest with Darkest. Now, once again, recommitting onto the Fairy line, has a +1, has a Rage Blade already slammed here, going to try and go for potentially a 9 Fairy win out on the Kalista Rakan duo.
Can come from augments, can come from the carousel, so a lot of chances to go there. And this is Gear PYM should be very familiar with this comp. Like, this is his highest cap out comp, so he's seen this before.
He's not the Fairy Queen, the Fairy King, exactly.
I wouldn't say so. I think he's more of the Honey King.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays him some other.
It makes more sense. And once again, here, Soraka is so good in the early game, even with the Ginso that is not a regular item in her. She's so good in the front, so you for sure enable him. Midfield right now, with Wukong only gaining a little tempo here. And let's see, as you said, Clement, important for him to maintain as much as he can the win streak. He hasn't slammed anything, so let's see if this is enough.
So I gotta ask for more info, because this is not an augment that I am familiar with. I don't like playing risky, so I never pick this. So what are you expecting out of mid-feed spot?
He has to go win streak, and he already leveled to 5 on 2-3, so he's going to maintain that. What it means is that you get an automatic 4 win streak already going into the game, and I just think it just goes to show his mentality. He knows what he has to do. He knows even though he has no slammable items, he's still going to go into this line and play for the best possible outcome.
Similar augment to Escort Quest, to something like Spoils of War, where it forces you to snowball early. If you do snowball early, fantastic, you get the max value. If you somehow lose that snowballing factor, you lose a lot of the value from the augment. You're essentially an augment down.
We still have 2 players here, actually 4 players who have not committed their direction with the spatula. I do want to mention, in terms of the stage 2 carousel, there's a 25% chance you actually do find a second spatula.
I think we're getting a little bit of information about what ZUA's Caretaker's ally is as well. It is Neela.
Oh.
So did not get the cast, and we could see Neela reroll.
All right, everyone, I'll step away from the cast. I'll
I
invite
really need
Gangly
Gangly back
over
in
here
here.
to break down for 20 minutes the tech around Neela as a unit.
Actually, I could tell you the tech that Gangly has told me about being able to run the Neela. You actually do need a Hand of Justice as well as the Infinity Edge, and then you can also add some other type of combat item to it, and then you're all set.
The key point, as I have learned from Gangly, is to build straight offensive items onto this Neela. You want the Infinity Edge, max burst potential to get directly into the backline. A lot of times, she does jump into the backline and can take out 3 hunters at the same time.
But made an Eldritch Spat, so you are going to be able to actually go up to a 7 Eldritch very quickly.
Yeah, this could be the reroll, but we know that normally if you want to go for the Syndra has to be immediately, so not necessarily.
I just want to say, I think this is the better version of Neela compared to Neela.
You get it for free 3-star, and then you go up, you level, and get the Eldritch.
We talk about the problem with Eldritch reroll is trying to balance the fine line between getting your 3 stars and also pumping levels.
So
getting the Neela for free helps with this.
sorry, that was midfeed getting his streak broken.
And
That's
that
what I
is
thought you were calling
bad
out, Pundit.
news for the called shot player. We just talked about it. The moment you lose that snowballing tempo that you had, you're kind of in big trouble coming to stage 3.
One last augment, and he also did level on 2-3 for it, so also did miss some of the potential interest gold already.
Still can't slam the spatula either that he actually started out the game with. So you're going to have to really pick up the pieces. After Krugs, you're going to get another opportunity at an augment, and we'll have to see what kind it is.
One key thing to mention with a spatula portal start is the idea of loose streaking having that tiny bit more of value. As you mentioned, Clement, in the stage 2 carousels, there's around 20% chance to get a spatula. You can build a fawn, but more importantly, in a game like this where you have to get it first, you can build 2 emblems towards one of those verticals. That case for Volta being the Witchcraft +2.
Yeah, for Balmion being the Fairy +2 here, so both of them going for that win condition as you just mentioned, Panda. So that's the vertical that you want to win. Maybe Witchcraft, with other people going for the vertical fairies, vertical portal, something like that, it maybe will not be enough.
There is an opportunity to reforge things, though. I just want to point that out, that we do see Volta still with that Reforger on bench, so you could try the high roll if you wanted to reforge that Warrior Crest.
Definitely would wait until 3-2, especially to see your augment choice, and then have a more informed decision around where your game is going.
Just hit now.
Even if you're Volta Necro, you have to sometimes use some information.
Wow.
Sugarcraft,
there it is.
+1.
All right.
For title here, a very, very interesting choice. We know this is really strong when you have a lot of extra resources, a lot of extra item components especially.
And this is so interesting because he has to drop HP as fast as possible in order to get that Sugarcraft items online. He's on Stimpack. Once he goes below 50, that's a couple more components to fill this out.
But it's so interesting because I feel like Tidal is one of those players. We know that he likes to play to format. We know that he understands the assignment of needing to get that first place in check. And I feel like it's going to be so fun to watch how he econ losses to try to lose as little HP as possible.
The big thing when you're in this situation is to get one of those free 3-cost Sugarcrafts on your board. He's only 1 away from Bard. If you can win streak stage 3, stage 4, this becomes very hard to stop. And I like that. Playing another Warwick reroll to tempo.
Why not?
It might have a lot of lifesteal, actually.
One important thing where Tidal knows that this Sugarcraft line is going to be uncontested. So no one is really going to stop him or try and really hold too many of the Gwens and kind of the main carries in that late game. Playing against Volta, unfortunately, for Tidal, it's going to be a win here, breaking the lose streak, breaking the Stimpack possibilities. Volta helping and starting to become maybe that hero already in this game number 6.
We didn't saw this line so far. Every time people tried to play the Sugarcraft, it was always with the crown on the beginning, and it didn't work out. They tried to play a tempo. Now, different line. Full loss, game for the additional items, and now it could make the difference here with the silver augment.
Another silver. This is actually going to be a fairly low cap lobby.
Yeah, Neka crawl it.
No.
Yeah, it's your fault, Neka.
No. It's
Another
not
branching out for
supposed to be my
title if you want
fault.
to get really crazy here.
That's actually not bad, you know. It's additional 2 components at the very least.
There's a restart mission available for ZEA, but I don't think you're gonna want to take that. I don't think.
And Gear PYM apparently also on the Sugarcraft, so
Yeah.
interesting. A lot of players having the same lines here. Of course, he's already in check too.
Balmyon with John Guan free, so huge for him being in the first place and now getting the possibility of getting either a Rakan or a Kalista in the carousel, and he is not jeopardized by being first. Perfect.
More importantly, a spatula.
Yep.
True. Get that extra fairy crest. That would be big.
I just want to say I've been through some patches where half of the winners have been 9 fairy. It would be the perfect way to cap out this set. Just saying.
It would. Well, we see Midfeed actually take Tiny Titans, so is going to be sitting at the top of the HP. But as we take a look at Balmyon going up against Gear P, nope, don't listen to me. I thought Balmyon is still streaking.
Balmyon is a 6-win streak right now.
Yeah.
With the 100 win streak coming into what is almost going to be that carousel round. And importantly for Darkest, we haven't talked about them yet. They are committed to the Frost +1, ideally the Frost +2 in the future. We did see this line. If you get a Diana 2, if you have the right setup, it could lead you into a very, very strong board. But the risk did not pay off just yet, branching out into an Encanter +1 alongside it.
This isn't the worst of options here because there is a very prominent sort of Karma Olaf line that you can kind of tempo and play around with. Obviously, you would like the Frost, but this is definitely doable on 8 until maybe later rounds carousels gives you the ones you want.
Yeah, you can gain some LP, but they're looking for the win, so on first place, I don't like it climbing, I don't know.
Olaf 3? Olaf 3?
Oh, that's the tech, and now I like it.
Too late. You have to index pretty early on into that Olaf gameplay.
Where's the 2 Olafs for Volta? You should have it already, just based on my experience watching him.
And this carousel, we mentioned, it's so important. Hupe, you mentioned for Balmyon, young, he's wild, he's free, he can break out from the magical barrier. Does he find a spatula? Does he find a Rakan or a Kalista? The answer is no. Let's hope that next carousel he gets a bit more value.
Gets
The
a
dream.
bow, or Volta gets a bow at least. Balmyon's still picking.
I love what YBY just did there. He denied the 2 Sugarcraft players going to 6 Sugarcraft with the Gwen sneak away. Very important. Once that 6 Sugarcraft goes online, it's 50 additional stacks compared to the 4.
Yeah, and that's actually the win condition. Getting early those 6 Sugarcraft, title didn't got it, so both of them didn't got it, and that will delay so much the ramp up of the cake, and that's when you want to get the pop-off. You want to get those additional resources as fast as possible, and then ramp up into the late game.
Taking a look at Title's board here. Missed out on the potential for 6. Let's see. Has he dropped? He's still on 57 HP. No, that's not the game plan, Title. You're too strong.
One more.
One more loss, unless everyone decides to start loose streaking
I don't
and
think
title never goes under 50.
I don't think he should have Titans the Warwick. I think he should have waited.
Yeah, trying to get value from the component being slammed, of course, without making it awkward later of having a split component on a different unit.
So I was going to bring this up. Taking away the Gwen is actually really good for YBY1 because there are 2 Witchcraft players in this lobby. Both YBY1 and Volta have those Witchcraft emblems, and one of the ways that you can play Vertical Witchcraft is with this Gwen.
Yeah, one of the best options here because she is AoE and you can easily port her items later on to Morgana.
Title now does finally drop to exactly 49 HP, as all good players do when they're playing Stim Pack. One note to make on YBY1, dominated day 1 and 2, coming into this day 3. 1.33 AVP on the vertical Witchcraft line. Absolutely insane performance on that vertical. Now, like we saw Midfeed in the past games, leaning into one of his comfort comps in a pivotal game 6.
Okay, so no one still has gotten the double emblem, like that huge cap possibility, but Balmyon, with only 1 fairy emblem, he can go fast 9 fairies. It's not the greatest cap in the world, but if he punish the rest, doesn't allow someone to get the huge win condition, this could be enough.
He's got 9 win streak right now.
Mr. 100, game 6.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine?
I can, but I think the reality is not going to quite match my imagination.
And he's in such a good spot. I wouldn't be too surprised as he is projected to win this one. to just go into more of a tempo playstyle. You have to win out anyway. You don't have to roll on 8 necessarily even. Going straight 9.
Go to Camille, go to Morgana.
Yeah.
No one contesting the fairies means that once other players roll down for their 4 costs that pair up with these verticals, these fairy units are not going to be contested. You can find them easier on 9.
Yeah, there's no multis in this lobby.
Yeah.
Meavita's playing vertical pyro? Question mark?
It's been a long
enough.
time since Korea has had a secondary champion, and it would be huge if the 2 champions coming from one sub-region of APAC.
Especially so much later. 8-lane jaywalking in set 4 in Fates, and now we're in set 12 Magic and Mayhem. Would be a great, great story.
Would be poetic too, knowing that Balmyong looked up to 8L jaywalking so much and actually got started in TFT after seeing that win.
Yeah, now we're seeing Midfit, the only one who didn't commit so far the spatula, looking now to assemble it.
Does roll down on 8 in the end. Does find a Rakan. No Kallistas, unfortunately.
There it is.
Does find one
Picked it up.
now. Double Rage Blade already built. Can swap off the Poppy into the Rakan now, slam the items. We now just need the upgrades throughout the stage 4. Maybe the Augment could be incredibly important with such low resources off of 2 silver Augments to start things off.
I think this is the much safer play, to be honest. I think we're maybe getting ahead of ourselves.
Look at these items. They're absolutely perfect.
Yeah, wow.
You can build now towards the Camille items that will eventually hold this Fairy +1.
And important to recognize that it hasn't been a high cap board in terms of resources. It hasn't been so much inflation, so this is perfect for Balmyong because he only needs items for the Kalista, for the Rakan. He has the perfect item, so now he only has to go to level 9.
One of these players is going to lose their win streak though, and unfortunately it is going to be ZUA finally able to get that Neela 3 online, and still very, very healthy, but that win streak is gone.
Really hurts Zero chances there.
Rakan 2.
Prismatic.
2 great augments there already, finding more combat strength for that Fairy board for Balmyong with Immovable Object and Blossoming Lotus.
Title got sugar.
It's what the
What
fuck
the
is
four?
With Sugarcraft. This is exactly what Sugarcraft needs to really start blowing up. Elia, in the very first day of this tournament, got an absolutely dominating win with a What the Forge Sugarcraft setup. This could be the repetition on the very last game of the tournament as well. If Tidal is able to execute, we already saw Tidal execute with the Vanguard Blasters earlier in this day 3.
I restore him with one suspicious trench coat right there.
Golden Egg for ZUA with so much HP to work with.
Wow.
84 HP to try and hatch this egg. Neela as a great tempo option even in this stage 4. Could this be a Golden Egg hatching and potentially winning this game 6 for the only CN player?
The setup is actually a time bomb. So Balmyong has the fast 9, has the possibility of ramping up with the tempo, but ZUA with the Golden Edge set a title here with the possibility of getting a huge ramp up with the Sugarcraft. They both can cap out so amazing if they get enough time to do it.
Witchcraft, Crown for Volta, accessing 8 Witchcraft as a possible win condition as well. This is exactly what we talked about. 2 silvers into now Prismatic, throwing a wrench into everyone's plans, giving the extra resources most of these players needed to try and cap out. Rise 2 with the Witchcraft emblem. Now we just need the 8 Witchcraft. The Morgana has to be found here for Volta.
He doesn't have much gold to roll though here, so
Maybe the Carousel.
yeah, that's
pick
gonna
now.
be huge.
Or maybe, yeah, I guess second pick with Balmyong also in the mix with a Young Walden free. Balmyong as well, if there's a spatula, maybe could come back into things. 12 win streak for now for the Korean player.
I do want to mention I have seen Balmyong win games on 100 HP before in the Cup Finals, so if he could do it here again at Worlds, that would be so amazing. Usually on this Golden Egg, you need 2 wins. If you have 2 wins, it's most likely you're gonna you're gonna be able to push it through. And Zira, I believe, already has 1.
And this creates a very interesting dynamic. Every single player in this lobby was maybe thinking, I don't need to win now, I'm gonna cap out later. But because the Golden Egg is added into the mix, everyone has to rehash their plans. Volta, regardless, has already kind of had that first big spike off of the extra Witchcraft emblem, wins that fight against ZUA. No spatulas. There is Emilio for Balmyong, though. Does pick it up. It looks like there. Diana for titles, taking away Diana from potentially Darkest, who wasn't that Frost +1.
Great call-ups here, and Volta does not find the Morgana here, unfortunately. Not able to find the critical legendary for his piece. Ziriet also not getting a Briar. So I would say Balmyong just kind of the big winner.
And Darkest, we mentioned having to bring in some heroics to deny the checkmate. Did pick up Pandora's item, has a chance to off a stroke of luck, find the right, reforge essentially every single round into the right emblem to maybe become one of the scarier players in this lobby.
YBY also with the Rise here, so both of them, Volta and him, will not have the possibility of that as an out, but Volta should be the strongest, so everyone is trying to not get him in the lineup, and preservation of HP now more important than ever. Level 5 in all this board will make the difference. They are all so strong with potential of being a time bomb.
The record we had was a 23 win streak coming out for Gear PYM. Is Balmy gonna break that one? There's a lot of things that could happen here.
Speaking of Gear PYM, that is a very, very interesting smolder flying around his board. Eternal Flame, good lore and thematic synergy at the very least.
You don't need to put 2 dragons here, support item to fill in that niche. Doesn't look like a high cap situation. He would really have preferred some upgraded 4 cost for him.
Volta also taking down a notch. Balm Young
Continues with the wins.
securing another win.
My
and
God.
it's an important win because you can tell, hey, I just beat Volta, who has the 2 Witchcraft emblems. I'm still very strong.
And
Palmyong can get stronger. That's the crazy part.
Zira won that last fight.
yeah, I have bad news for the lobby because Zira has already found his 2 wins. So even on 100 HP, you just need 2 wins. He already got it on stage 4. That's going to be a massive cash out.
Is it going to be strong enough to beat a potential +2 vertical for most of these players who are angling for that? That's the big question.
What can be in the egg? Let's fill everybody in for a second on what can you actually get out of the egg that makes it such a strong win condition.
There's Radiant TGs inside of it. Usually it's much more item components, gold, and also sometimes duplicators. You rarely see that, so it's going to come down to the player if they have that one memorized. I really have Mindful one on speed dial for all of these situations.
Looking at mid feed, has gone into this Pyro line, has already a Briar set up here with the Gunblade. Is the Briar Varus combo going to do enough? This is harking back to the start of the set, really, where that combo was a bit more prevalent with a Nasus Briar synergy and the Varus as maybe a better main AD carry, especially before those nerfs.
Yeah, and coming back here with the possibility of the egg, those Radiant items is exactly what you need. Additional items are not good because you're actually going for a vertical that the units are not so prevalent. Only the Super Boss, the Semi-God that comes with the Eldritch is the important one. So actually, the Nila is the one you want to pop off and have great items on her.
The problem for midfeed is that this is a 10-loss streak.
There's more than one problem.
When I saw him play this line, you were thinking about high cap, and the reason that he picked up this Tinny Titans is he wanted the extra HP to find that Xerath. If he got the Xerath on 8th, then that's a very high cap. You can go Chariot, you can go Vertical, but he just didn't find it. So I was paying attention to that, looking for it, didn't happen.
Tries to go for the Briar 2, doesn't find it. Maybe looking at the Varus 3, but still just way too far away. One key player to look at is Volta, who now has found the Morgana. All of a sudden, his board has a big, big upgrade. Volta is on 1 life at this point in time. Midfeed, I think, still at 2, being in stage 5. Volta, one of the heroes of this lobby. If Volta goes down now, that means it's only down to Darkest to prolong this tournament to a potential Game 7.
He has the fighting pose. Going up against here, PYM.
This Ride is very far away from any danger, going to cast freely, get the curses out later into the fight. The Morgana holding on still as well. The Taric with the Witchcraft emblem. Rise, second cast here, should clean up against Gear PYM, one of the weaker players in this lobby alongside Midfeed. But Midfeed does get the win here at the very least.
So huge here for Volta. Only 1 HP, but with the possibility here to ramp up to get us to another game. And he has the spot. We have to see what the eggs bring us, and then what title brings on also with the Sugarcraft.
Probably important to see how much how many stacks title has already, We're going to go over to YBY1's board now with only 6 HP.
Morgana pair.
Combat.
Fiora pair. Morgana 2 has been found for the APAC player.
There's this change.
Wit's End on this Morgana. The red buff now, the anti-heal, the utility passing on to the Rise instead.
He's going to run it into his brother in arms mid-feed. Only one of them. YBY could be eliminated here.
Both players on 1 life. Tough 1v1 here, and YBY off of that upgrade, off of the Morgana 2, cleans up here mid-feed. Not quite able to make that work.
Gear
Will
PYM
stay alive. Gear PYM is taken down, and midfeed on 5 HP now.
This is one of those comps from YBY that could actually clean up the backline from Bombyong. If he has him on the right side, the Rise does target 4 closest targets.
Taro is strong. He's on a win streak right now, and now we're seeing midfield. Again, in dire position, trying to get that ramp up as much as he can. The Briar is doing work, but it lacks additional damage. We need something else here.
It's a Briar 1 as well. That's the big thing. You need to find that upgrade. Looking at Ziyue, the egg is getting hotter and hotter. It will be hatching soon.
Oh, I think it's just the next round. The animations, you can see that. Maybe it's just the Smolder waiting to pop out. I would be happy for the rest of the lobby.
Song of Fire and Olaf here for Darkness. The speed is enough. Olaf not ramping up. Good CC from the Nami. Should be the win here for Ziyue. Darkness still alive, but now with a huge chunk of HP, only 10.
Midfeet taken down, Volta taken down, Darkest on his last life, and just got a loss against ZU as well, who might be popping the egg soon. If Darkest is taken down, that means someone is ending the game in this game number 6.
Bombyong picks up the potential Milio 2. Massive find for him on the carousel. Title, of course, just going for high cost since he has What the Forge on that big win streak. I'm getting cold sweats right now. We're getting so close to the end. Unless Darkest, can Darkest actually stop this?
There was no emblem to try and reforge with the Pandora's items. The cash out does come through here. We just see quite a few items, and we also see the Assassin's Crown or the Fawn coming in here for
Arcade,
the extra unit.
great there for the Nami. Great scaling and some damage. That's exactly what the board needs. Going with Anila, so we have AoE damage, we have good frontline, we have a single target damage with Anila. Makes sense this for Ziyue. Is it enough to go against Tidal? Is it enough to take out the Ferris from Bombyong?
Looking at this board from Olaf, I have to say Tidal might be the one that can take it away from Ziyue. Those are the 2 closest players in the lobby at the point.
Title is fighting up against YBY1, so a possible elimination coming through from YBY1. Darkest, though, also going to be very close.
The Ride is taken down. The Fiora is also going to be taken down on the top right there. And an absolute clean on Darkest's board. They are not able to become the hero that not just EMEA, but everyone who wants to see a Game 7 needed.
Which means we're
No
crowning a
extension.
champion.
3 players remain.
1438, he gets the Golden Remover. This isn't the biggest one. The next one is the Radiant item.
2 APAC, 1 C8 region there in Ziyue. Goes to the east, and so great to see 8 win streak for Tidal. He's the lowest in XP, but with the highest potential to take it all.
Especially if he's able to reach the next level of that cake. 1,800 stacks is what Tidal requires. It was his birthday yesterday, but he might be celebrating today with this absolutely massive cake.
Can have his cake and eat it too, maybe, at the end of this tournament, but he's got to face up against this Eldritch Forge of Ziyue. This Eldritch Horror is coming in, and it's actually able to smack away at that back
he's on the back line.
The Fiora split is big. Can he take on the Nami? Yes, the double-pronged attack from the Fiora. The Dance of Blades. It's just down to the Bear versus
1-on-1.
Snip, snip, but this bear is absolutely massive. Can the bear clutch up? No, Tidal gets the win that he absolutely needed to extend to a 9 win streak, possibly getting closer and closer to becoming the first 2-time TFT Global Champion.
The setup is perfect. He just needs to get to level 9, get the Morgana in, Witchcraft, Preserver, so huge for everything in the comp. He has so many resources. The plan is set up right now for Tidal.
And talking about his items, these are actually huge coming in for the Gwen. You don't usually see Gwen play such an important part, but those are perfect items. Mana Zane, Innervating Locket, also has the Magic Shred, which is typically missing in the composition, coming in from that Blighting Jewel.
Getting so tense.
He's going 9. He's going 9, looking for the Morgana. Any Preserver can work also, or any Witch one, where the Morgana is good enough here. And there you have more Preserver, more frontline. He makes the switch, and now the Rakan will be the frontline for his comp. He switch.
Nora just purchased Nora pair now as well. Nora 2 could be an interesting upgrade to give that Yuumi into one of those melee carries to have even more damage and survivability in these pivotal next few fights.
Gives it to the Gwen, the champion, the hero that we're talking about. Is Gwen and Boom Boom Cafe finally gonna get a championship here at the TFT Tactician's Crown?
Oh, Sugarcraft versus the Fairies.
Looking at the Gwen, we're looking at the Kalista. The Kalista slowly stacking up these Rage Blade stacks, trying to become the carry. Balm Young spiked so early, a huge win streak, but now we're
in the back, but it's not
the
enough.
real strongest players in the lobby climbing back up. And the Bard clutch up, he does. Balm Young taking down yet again, now to 30 HP. Ziyue also takes a loss on his last life, the last hope of CN.
Tidal winning it down the stretch, going the entire way, and now he has the Radiant item. I don't quite remember how this one works when you have What the Forge. Oh, you just get another Ornn artifact.
The Fishbones, the arcane lore appropriate equipment onto the Jinx there. You love to see it. Tidal understood the mission.
Really did. Good sneak peek at what we're going to expect to see potentially, well, exactly after this game. Finds the Morgana. That's going to be a huge way to be able to get just a little bit of extra beef into this board. And Tidal gets the ghost.
Ziyue doesn't look like he's been able to upgrade his board that much. Only a Radiant item onto his Mordekaiser 3. That was the visible upgrade. The thing is, you can't outscale this Gwen. She's 6 Sugarcraft with tons of stats. How are you going to take her out?
It's going to be so tough, but that means on the other side that Balm Young and Ziyue are going to actually be fighting it out. The real player Ziyue does get knocked out.
Is taken down. The title will remain in the APAC region. It will be title versus Balm Young, Korea versus Japan.
And how poetic is this? The two best players from APAC that didn't even need to play the Golden Spatula to qualify for Worlds are now duking it out for the final global championship right here, proving that APAC is without the doubt the most competitive region.
Full threats for Sugarcraft Fearful Title. Balm Young finding the Thera 2, so he goes for Arcana. That's the cap of the board he was looking for. Different from what we've seen so far.
Do we see the Fiora with the Suspicious Trenchcoat and the Gwen able to access this Kalista maybe a little bit earlier, bypassing the Rakan solo frontline, maybe winning off of that? Does the Xerath come into play there for the Balm Young, for Fairy, and maybe win it all? Double Shojin gets a big cast. The Eye of the Magus comes out. The Trenchcoat pops. Fiora is now looking for new targets to kill. The Dance Blades, the fight.
It's too much.
So
it's too much damage.
Big for Tidal.
There could be Fairy here. This carousel would be huge. 9 Fairy could win it. There's 2 emblems, but no Fairy.
Portal +1, Pyro +1, irrelevant emblems, irrelevant traits in this current 1v1.
Tidal gets even stronger, and Balm Young simply has to go for additional defense. Looks like it's good for Tidal here.
And Tidal's gonna reach. He's gonna get the 9, the full cake anyway, even if he loses this round.
There's too much HP on Tidal. You can't take him down in one loss, and he's too strong for you to do so anyway.
Both boards are now showing Tidal because of how massive he is. It's just, what do you do here? He also has the Gwen 3 win-out condition. Everything is online for a repeat championship to happen.
The Milio 2 was found for Balm Young. Could that be the difference maker? Tidal has looked so dominant throughout every single fight in this stage 6. Continues to win streak, 12 win streak now. Look at the Fiora, look at the Gwen, both of the main carries on the Sugarcraft comp. It's just too much to deal with.
He's going to the back line.
The Kalista
Tidal has
taken
it.
down. Tidal's done it.
And Tidal ascends to greatness again as your 2-time Tactician's Crown champion.